Oh my god, so this is a big one. We have a solution for the 340, and it's real. I've been working together with two other codebreakers for a while now. One is named Sam Blake. He's an applied mathematician who lives in Australia and has worked on several interesting problems. The other is named Jarl Eycke, who is a warehouse operator who lives in Belgium. He's also a very gifted programmer and created excellent code-breaking software called AZ Decrypt, which was inspired by his desire to crack the cipher. Well, Sam became interested in ways to do transpositions or manipulations of the 340. It was assumed that Zodiac did something different to the message before assigning all the symbols, and that could explain why the cipher was unsolved for so long, so we started doing a lot of experiments. He sent me about 650,000 different manipulations of the ciphertext. Our thinking was, if Zodiac rearranged the cipher message somehow, let's try to find out how. I took all of Sam's manipulations and ran them through Jarl's AZ Decrypt codebreaking program. The idea was to take Sam's hundreds of thousands of variations of the 340 and try to get AZ Decrypt to crack them. Maybe we'd stumble on something. Well, on Thursday, December 3rd, after many months of running Sam's experiments in AZ Decrypt, I looked at this solution that was mostly gibberish. So it looks like the thousands of others. Normally I'd ignore them, but this one had words like, "Hope you are trying to catch me," and "or the gas chamber." At that time, the rest of the plain text looked like garbage and nonsense, like many other thousands of solutions I've seen over the years. But these phrases turned out to be our way into the real solution, and we almost overlooked them. So we took a closer look at Sam's manipulation of the 340. What he did was split the cipher into 3 sections. The first section is 9 lines long. So is the second section. Then there are 2 lines in the third and last section. In Sam's manipulation of the cipher, he reads through all the symbols in a diagonal direction, following this rule. First, start in the upper left corner, write out that symbol, move down 1, and then move over 2. Write out that symbol. Continue until you get to an edge. Then jump around to the opposite edge and keep going. Then you'll have a rewritten cipher that looks like this. So I put that first manipulated section of the cipher into AZ Decrypt, hoping it would solve it, but it didn't come up with anything useful. The phrases, "hope you are trying to catch me," and "gas chamber" didn't even appear again. But those phrases came up before, so I plugged those into AZ Decrypt using what's called a crib feature. Basically, you can lock in words at specific positions. Then the solver leaves those words alone while it searches for the rest of the key. So here goes. I clicked on Solve with Cribs, and boom, suddenly got a really clean message. And the phrase, "that wasn't me on the TV show," pops out. At this point, I jumped out of my chair and yelled, "Holy shit!" It's because I knew the cipher was received on November 8, 1969, which is about 2 weeks after someone calling themselves Zodiac called into a TV talk show hosted by Jim Dunbar and featuring the famous lawyer Melvin Belli. While the show was on the air, the caller said, "I need help, I'm sick, I don't want to go to the gas chamber."
And then we'll come back and I'll give you a specific answer to this question on your going to the gas chamber. Huh?
I want to kill those kids.
So all of this made the message seem real because it fits the timeline of events and sounds like what Zodiac would say. We had to be on the right track. Here's the full text AZ Decrypt found. "I hope you are having lots of an in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show which bringo up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to pay all all the." Now the cipher has 63 different unique symbols throughout, and they all appear in this first section. So that means we now probably have much of the key for the entire cipher, since the key seems to work pretty much fine for the first part. Here's what the key looks like. But what about the second part of the cipher, the next 9 lines? What's the message there? Applying the same key with the same reading direction gives this plain text. It's not quite right, but it does seem to have some real words in it. Because, have, slave, where, everyone, he has nothing when they reach. And this kind of looks like it says paradise. And a afraid of. So that made me think a real message was still in there. I'll return to this part in a moment, but let's skip ahead to the last 2 lines. This is what the last 2 lines look like when you apply the same substitution key. First thing we noticed is it has some normal looking words in it. I will, easy, and death. Very strange. Why would words appear normally? It's inconsistent from the diagonal reading order we did for the other 2 parts. But look at this piece. It looks like it says paradise, but spelled backwards. He used that word several times in his letters, spelled the exact same way, including in the solution for the first cipher. So if you look, there are other reversed words. First, let's put some spaces between them. Then let's put the reversed ones back to normal. Now it says, life will be an easy one in paradise, death. That seems like a pretty good interpretation, and it reinforces the solution we found for the first part because the same substitution key produced 2 sections of plain text that make sense. Okay, so that leaves us with the second part. The decryption didn't look quite right yet, and has some recognizable words in it. We thought maybe, since this message seems close, that there was some mistake or error in the transcription or in the encipherment. That is, the rule we are using to read out the message doesn't quite work perfectly because of some mistake Zodiac might have made when he created the cipher. So we decided to look at what corrections need to be made to fix the cipher. The first thing we discovered is that many spelling mistakes happen on the same line. For example, these words are misspelled. OOW should be now. ENSUGH should be enough. Slaver should be slaves. And FOV should be for. The problem letters are OSVR. They are all on the same line. To fix the spelling, you have to change those letters to NOSR. But notice that NOSR is on the same line, but is shifted 1 position to the left. I sent this observation to Jarl, and he discovered if you shift this entire section to the right and move the H from the end to the beginning, it fixes the spelling of many words. We also noticed how life is appears in the clear, up in the upper right corner. Jarl also discovered that if you ignore this section when applying the diagonal reading rule, the message in this part is even more clear. So, now we go through the reading rule like this. And remember, we are going to skip the life is part. And here's the resulting message. And with some minor corrections, we finally have this. Sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. So they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that mine knew. Jarl supposed that Zodiac may have intended for the extra words life is to be placed at the end of the message, so it reads, I am not afraid because I know that my new life is. So now when we combined all 3 parts, the final message looks like this. I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. So they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life is life will be an easy one in paradise, death. Incidentally, where the words paradise and death appear in the solution corresponds to where the Zodiac signature appears in the original ciphertext. The very end doesn't flow quite right yet, but maybe someone can figure out how it's supposed to read. But that is the final message we settled on, and we submitted it to the FBI on the morning of Saturday, December 5th. By the time you see this video, it should be officially confirmed by authorities. But I invite everyone to do their own confirmation based on the information in this video and send in your comments. So, it's been a very exciting few days. 51 years after it was sent, Zodiac's 340-character cipher has finally been solved. The message doesn't really say a whole lot. It's more of the same attention-seeking junk from Zodiac. We were disappointed that he didn't put any personally identifying information in the message, but we didn't expect him to. Maybe his name really is in the 13-character cipher he sent almost 6 months after the 340. Unfortunately, there is not much hope of confirming any solutions for such a short cipher without getting really lucky and discovering new evidence or finding Zodiac still alive and asking him. But the solution tells us Zodiac did indeed react to how quickly his first cipher was solved back in August of 1969, and he put in a good effort to make his second cipher even more complicated. This thing was a beast. Splitting it up into 3 parts and including multiple transpositions made the cipher difficult, but it was made even more difficult because of the mistakes in the second part. We were extremely lucky to uncover this solution, because enough of the cipher was still created systematically, using rules that one day someone would try to apply to the cipher. So now I want to thank all the people that helped make this solution possible. First to Jarl and Sam for their many hours of assistance with this effort. This solution would not have been possible without their dedication and inspired insights. Thanks also to the fine folks at the Cryptanalysis and Racketeering Records Unit over at the FBI for their assistance and support. Also want to thank Mike Morford, Michael Butterfield, and Tom Voigt for their websites and forums full of useful Zodiac information. AZ Decrypt was partly inspired by another code-breaking program called ZK Decrypto, which was made almost 15 years ago and was one of the first programs that could automatically solve the 408 cipher. The team that made it were Brax Cisco, Wesley Hopper, Michael Eaton, and David Campbell, so many thanks to them for creating the spiritual predecessor to AZ Decrypt. Thanks also to Jeffrey LaTurner, who contributed many fascinating cipher experiments on the forums in his investigations of the Period 19 phenomenon. The Period 19 phenomena ended up being a legitimate clue into the transposition scheme used in the 340. Also want to thank Eycke Callista's many contributions on the forums and for his awesome Zodiac cipher font and the code-breaking software he created called Peekaboo. Thanks also to my family for putting up with all this and believing in me. And I also want to say thank you to all the supporters of the web series. Your kind words encouraged me to keep working on this problem. I'm not sure what the future of this series holds, but I'm sure there will be more things to talk about in the coming weeks. So until next time, see you later and stay safe.